So what happens after your offer gets accepted? Now, the contracts we use here in Richmond have several contingencies that we work through the process. And this is assuming that all the contingencies are in play based upon how your realtor wrote the contract. So we have financing, we have appraisal, we have inspections, we have termite, and we have HOA. So let's talk about those real quick. Financing, you have to formally apply for your loan if you haven't done so already within the first 7 days. If you do not do that, the seller can cancel your contract and you get your deposit back and off you go. But usually everyone does that in the first few days. They want to make sure that's taken care of. Our lenders do a great job of reaching out to our buyers to make sure that piece is taken care of and it never shows up as an issue. So the next contingency is appraisal. If you're not paying cash and you're getting a loan, 9 times out of 10, the bank is going to require an appraisal to be done. The bank will then send out an appraiser he or she will give their opinion of the value of this property based upon the market. Usually that lines up with the contract price that we have written, but every now and then it doesn't. And if it does not, we have to then negotiate with the seller. The seller is not required to accept that low appraisal if it came in low, and we could always release the contract and everyone moves on. Once again, 9 times out of 10, the appraisal works out just fine, and off you go. The third contingency is your inspection. And if that is in play, once again, if that's written in your contract, we usually write it in for 10 to 14 days for you as the buyer to have any inspection that you choose to pay for. That could be a whole house inspection, could be roof inspection, HVAC, crawl space, radon. There's lots of ones you could choose from, and your realtor is going to advise you based upon the house and how the seller took care of the house, which inspections we would recommend that you do. Once those inspections are done, we take that information and we submit it to the seller along with a repair list, and what we call a cost to cure, or an itemized list of those costs to fix those items. We negotiate that for 7 days, and then we come to an agreement and we move forward. If we don't come to an agreement, then the buyer can choose to walk away and get their deposit back. Our goal, of course, is to find an agreement with the seller, and once again, 9 times out of 10, we figure that out. The next contingency we have to go through is a termite. The seller is required to provide a termite report within 30 days of closing that says the house is free of termites. The seller usually is required to fix any issues up to $2,500. While we do find termites occasionally, the majority of those repairs are somewhere between $1,000 and $1,500, and the seller usually just takes care of it. The last contingency we would go through is if your home is in an HOA, a homeowners association, the seller has to provide you and me the HOA packet, which is basically the list of everything, the minutes, how the HOA works, what the cost, the fees, what it covers, and you have a certain number of days, usually 3, 5, or 7 days, to review those documents. And if you don't like anything about those documents, you can cancel the contract and get your deposit back. Now, if you're looking at a house that is in an HOA or a condo or a townhome that has one, a lot of times we can get those documents in advance and you can review them before we go into contract so you know what you're getting into. Once again, having a great realtor who knows how to handle these things for you is really important. But once we get through those inspections, with the financing, appraisal, inspection, termite, and HOA if you have it, then we go to closing.